Hari Om. We'll be starting with a prayer. Marujavam Marutatulyavegam Jitendriyam Buddhimatam Varistham Vatatmajam Vanuryutthamukham Sriramadutam Sharanam Prapadye Sriramadutam Sharanam Prapadye. Hari Om. Namaskar. Welcome to you all in evening sadhana session. So before we start with today's topic, I would like to sum up the questions which had been asked yesterday by few people during live sessions. Sometimes it becomes difficult to get the questions right there. However, Ajay Vatsji was watching yesterday and he questioned how to ignore the dear ones. First thing first, why do we need to ignore the dear ones? But still, maybe due to certain reason, if at all you think you need to, you know, ignore someone, it's easy. There is a tool, as I had said, that to do any single activity, there is a tool. So you need to get that tool. Okay. So it's very simple. You would have to detach. The more you remember the name of the person, the more you think about him or her, definitely in some or the other way you are connected. So you have to stop thinking about, just get engrossed in your work, focus on your work. That is all. Things will be ignored simply. That is all. Nothing much to do. All right. So today's topic is sadhana. All right. Now we will again take it in the same way. Like, first, what is sadhana? Is it really important for us to do? How is it really going to benefit if we do? And what do we lose if we do not do it? All right. So, all these questions, all these points, we'll be understanding one by one. So, let's come and understand first thing first. What is sadhana? Right. Sadhana has again two meanings. The moment we call sadhana, very simple thing comes in the mind is meditating, contemplating, or doing some sort of a spiritual practice. All right. So now you are right thinking that way, but there are more deeper aspects associated to it. The literal word meaning of sadhana, actually, sadhana is a Sanskrit word. In Hindi, also, we use the same word. All right. But the root word is Sanskritam. So, sadhana means to tune something, basically. All right. So, what are we going to tune here? What do we mean by tuning? So, it is connected to tune yourself in terms of what you think, what you speak, what you do, these should go hand in hand. Let's say you're thinking X, saying Y, and doing Z. It is a disastrous situation, I'm telling you, isn't it? You're thinking something else, saying something else, and doing something else. Isn't it disastrous? Like Book My Yoga says you, there will be a live session by 5 p.m. with Acharya Sri. And the time gets over. Okay, fine, we understand the technical issues. It may happen some or the other time, but not always, not in consistency. All right. So you will be upset if it, you know, goes every day late, or if it doesn't happen. Fine. So disappointment happens. Similarly, just think about the person who is inconsistency in his daily practice almost, saying, thinking X, saying Y, and doing Z. Can you imagine how disastrous that would be? So this is what we need to understand. This is what we are supposed to tune actually. This is what tuning means here, that your thought, your sayings, and your deeds should match each other, should match mutually. All right. Now, how does it happen? Again, I remind you, to do anything, we need certain tool. Now, to accomplish this task of tuning your own thoughts, your own sayings, and deeds, what could be the tools which could help you to gain this tuning happen, to make this possible, to make the possible activity of doing sadhana? All right. We will come on that later. That sadhana is a meditative aspect of the yogic life scenario, which is perfectly all right that we've discussed. But in general, we need to understand this first. All right. Let's start with the basics. So first we come, as I said, what you think, what you say, what you do should go hand in hand. So let us understand it one by one. First comes thinking. All right. So thinking has to do something with the company. I mean, the people with whom you live, the surrounding where you live, you know, the atmosphere, the books you are in touch with, you know, the people you follow in your life as your ideal, as your leader, as your hero, as your role model, has to be looked very carefully, has to be chosen very carefully, very wisely. Reason? Since you consider someone as role model in your life, maybe a book, maybe a person, maybe a matter, or just anything, it simply means, assuming that as role model or considering as role model to someone, it simply means that somewhere or the other, that particular person or the scenario is, you know, superior, a bit higher than your wavelength of understanding. That's the reason you are following whatever he or she is doing, or whatever the surrounding or the book says. Either you are not aware, or that attracts you, or in some or the other way you are influenced by that. All right. So, of course, again, it needs to be carefully chosen by you, for you, like by which kind of, or what kind of thoughts you want to be associated with. You want to be associated with, you want to be, you know, affected with, you want to be carried with, you want to live with. So it is completely in your hand. You have to choose it for you. Suppose, for example, then the next question, I know you will say, how do I know whom to choose? Of course, you know it. It makes very easy. Let's say, for example, if you want to make tea, don't you know the ingredients? Even if you do not know, you will search for the ingredients, maybe online, offline, or you will ask someone, okay, fine, what are the ingredients I can put for the tea? I can use for the tea. All right, isn't so? You will. Similarly, if you know what you are wanting, accordingly you will choose the role models and your heroes, or the books, or the situations, or the people you need to live with. All right. For example, you want to become a mathematician. Why would you follow a person who is into astrology? Would you? You will follow a person who is a mathematician. Ideally, you should follow. In case you want to become a mathematician and you are following an actor, or you are following an, you know, following an astrologer, which means what? You have chosen, wrong ingredient for your preparation. All right. So you need to understand this. So we are clear with this thought part. Thought has always to do with, it is always carried by something you are in association with, you are in touch with, you are in connect with, you are in contact with, directly, indirectly, in whatever way possible. Fine. So check that. And I already said how to check, when to check. You got that. Now we understand. Now we come to the point of saying yes. You know, there are a few things, I mean, not few, actually, several proverbs or sayings there are in Hindi, in Sanskrit, in Sanskritam, you know, about things like about speech. How should be a speech? How should be your speech? In Hindi, there is a doha, there is a couplet. So, sorry, that's, I believe, called duplet, couplet, couplet. All right. So, it is वाणी ऐसी बोलिए मन का आपा खोए औरन को शीतल करे आपहु शीतल होए, which simply means you should be speaking in such a way that whoever is listening should be mesmerized by the sweetness of your voice, by the sweetness of your speech, whatever you are saying. You should be also feeling good, and the next one also should be feeling nice. Fine. Now you would be like, come on, man. What if I get angry? You would have to control that. We'll be talking on that as well later part of the videos, or maybe in next videos. All right. Anger is a factor which we need to discuss, I understand. But right now, about the speech is it is very simple. You need to speak things which are relevant, which are needful. Never speak more than the need. See, this everyone knows that a child learns how to speak, you know, how to speak, and just probably in a year or 1.5, or in some cases 2 years. All right, in a very child age, in a very little age. All right, but it takes years for people to understand and learn what to speak. How to speak is learned by default in childhood itself. But what to speak, when to speak, okay, and how much to speak, with which intensity to speak, you know, it takes time. That comes by experience, learning, and understanding by various means, by observation, staying in good company, with good friends, with good books, you know, and such number of things. So, as I said, that yes, it is very, very important and sensitive what you speak and when you speak. The timing of what and when and how much is really important. That decides the scenario around you. That decides the, you know, ongoing activities over there. By your speech, no one should get hurt at least. This must be kept in mind. Again, keeping the anger aside, all right, this should be always in mind that you should not be hurting anyone. That is just that, nothing else. It is as simple as that. Like, as I mentioned yesterday, Pushakirdev Pandit Ram Sarmacharya, the founder of Akhil Vishwa Gayatri Parivar, he says a wonderful thing. He says, never do any activities for others which you do not like for yourself. All right. Let's say, for example, would you be liking if I burn you? Would you like that? Would you liking to be burned? Never. If you do not like, how do you expect or how do you behave in a way whereby you, next one is getting affected in that way? Burning is not just, I'm talking physical, but in terms of mental also, in terms of speech, in terms of emotions, in terms of sentiments. All right, saying bad words or uttering, you know, bitter words to anyone, just everyone, will definitely, you know, disturb the next person. And obviously, you would also be in a bad condition while speaking all that. Whenever anger comes, that eats up the capacity to think and consider what is right, what is wrong. That eats up the buddhi, you know, that eats up the intellect. So be careful. Anger is the demon. Stay away. It will kill you. Okay? It will gulp you like anything, like like you never existed. So be careful. All right. Now we come on deeds. Okay, the actions. Yes. In context of actions, there is a wonderful, you know, niti, the policy by Acharya Chanakya, my favorite. He says ask three questions before you do anything. Before you do anything. And what is that? Why shall I do it? Why shall I do it? Really, is it needful? If yes, if yes at all, then what is going to be the outcome? Fine, we never know exact outcome of any such task, but we can at least presume that we can at least, you know, have an assumption about what can happen if I do this. At least this much I know, that if I slap, you will feel pain, isn't it? So basic things we know, but still. So before taking action, we need to consider this. Why shall we do it? Is it really needful? Second question. And the third, what will happen afterwards as a result of this action? All right. So this must be done. If we do this, there is a complete lining up between what you are thinking, what you are saying, and what you are doing. All right. So this simple inclusion of activity will become sadhana. This simple inclusion of activity as a whole will become sadhana. All right. But in deeper aspects of yogic understanding of life, we must understand and consider that too. Sadhana has different meaning. All right. Here, sadhana is related or connected or symbolic of knowing to yourself by yourself. All right. Again, how do you do that? So remember, no activity happens without any medium. There's a medium required. So, what is that medium which would help you to connect to yourself? And the answer is very simple: the breath. What you breathe in and what you breathe out. All right. So, now I'm giving you this as a tool. You can practice it. All right. You can practice this in everyday routine. Like you can fix up whenever it is comfortable for you, maybe the morning or the evening or whenever. All right. Whenever suits you. So, what to do? Very simple. You need not to do something, you know, very vigorous task. It's very simple. Get freshen up. Be comfortable. If you can sit down, sit comfortably in cross-legged position. We call that as Padmasana, if you know, or else you can just simply Google. You'll find that. Or lie down on your bed, or sit on your sofa. Be relaxed. Just be comfortable. That is much more important. To start focusing on your breath, I mean, before you attempt this, you need to be comfortable. All right. So now let's say you have settled well. Just simply, just simply, nothing to do. In whichever way you are, I'm not going to tell you a particular mudra. In whichever way you feel comfortable, just change your fundamental state. Okay. And simply close your eyes and simply start breathing in very slowly through the nostrils only and slowly breathing out. Now, you should allow the mind to go along with the breath and come out along with the breath. Like that. Which means Stay connected to the breath. That is all. This simple tool will help you. This simple tool will initiate you in the path of sadhana. I'm not saying that it is a complete this thing, complete practice or something, or a complete achievement will be this or that. I'm nothing claiming or you know saying any kind of that those things. Understand, do not be in a hurry. Just move step by step. All right, you are always free, and the portal is open to ask questions, so you can put in, no problem. So for now, before I conclude, I should be summarizing it the whole today I spoke. All right, this is very important even for the people those who joined little later. First thing we discussed, today's topic was sadhana. Okay, so we understood what is sadhana. It is simply means being attentive to whatever activities you perform, the first literal meaning. And the second meaning in yogic aspect is to connect to yourself. All right, sadhana is a tool which helps you to connect to yourself. All right, now we discussed to be focused, you know, or to attempt sadhana, we need to accomplish few activities prior to this, and that is checking your thoughts, your sayings and deeds. So what you think, what you do, I mean, what you think, what you say, and what you do should go hand in hand, should correlate to each other, should justify to each other. All right, and I introduced the tool to check your thoughts. You need to check your goal. What are you aiming to become in your life, or what are you aiming to achieve in your life? Accordingly, you need to choose your hero or the ideal, the person or the living surrounding, or the friends or the books you want to spend time with. Okay, and second, the speech. So as I said, we learn speaking much earlier, in very little age. Okay, but I mean, how to speak we have learned already in the childhood, but how much to speak, when to speak, and what to speak has to be learned properly, has to you know keep a check on that, keep checking that every moment, and speak if it is needful. If it is not required, let us do not speak. It is as simple as that. Do not waste your energy, it's precious. Understand that. Okay, and third thing is the deeds, the actions. It's very simple. I given an example of Acharya Chanakya, the great guru of Niti. All right, the policies in several aspects. What I said is, before you attempt any activity, just ask three questions to yourself, and that is why that work has to be done. Second, whether shall you do it? If yes, then third question is, what is the expected outcome? What is going to happen? All right. So you have to understand this. If you have any questions related to today's topic, and if it is not, uh, it has not, if it has not come in my notice, if I haven't noticed that, I should be definitely, not, responding to that in next session. I mean, tomorrow at the same time, 5 p.m. at the same place. All right. So before I conclude, I'd like to appeal you once again in this scenario, that is, stay home, stay safe, be careful, drink hot water, take all the, you know, preventive measures, the precautionary measures to keep yourself safe, healthy, and happy. Let's have the Shanti part. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः, सर्वे सन्तु निरामयाः, सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु, मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्. ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. Let us all be healthy. Let us all be happy. Let us all be free from the miseries. Let there be peace, peace, and peace all across. Hari Om.